All right, everyone. I hope you can see my screen. We have started recording so that I can give you this session. And here in the beginning, can anyone figure out there is an error message that we are seeing? Can anyone figure out what is that error message? Okay. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Font, actually text editor, font, and let's say if I do it.
Function library.
You are saying that there is a function library missing, and this is the error message that is coming here, right? So what is the name of the file? If you say a message like that, missing function library, what will you do? You will come here and you will go to your function library section. You can see that this function library, there is a question mark here. Although it is too small, but there is a question mark here. This function library that we have created previously to use with this test it is not getting it. So what you do, you see what is the properties. Okay, I can see math property. First, if you see error, remove it, and then you try to associate that function library again. Associate function library, and then you go back to your place where you have your function library. Now my function library is inside my code here, UFT tutorials use of, actually function library, probably function libraries, inside function library miscellaneous functions. So now you can see that error message is gone, and also we have that function library properly attached to this test. So we need this function library. Why do we need this function library? Can anyone tell me why do we need this function library? Our reusable code is in that function library, and we have written those reusable code once, and we are using them for a while. Not only me, other people in the team, 1 people write that code, but 10-15 people in the team, all of them, they are using this function. So in that way it saves time. It gives efficiency in developing code by saving your work time. Okay, that is how you modularize your code, and so that you can reuse it. Multiple people in the team that can reuse it. Now see here, the goal here, we have a test file, we have a Excel file in this location. I'll first go to that location to show you what I have over there. So I named it as test excel.xls. Now I'm going there. I'm actually I cannot go from here. I'll have to go from the virtual machine, because I'm copying this path from virtual machine. Now if I go there, the name of the file is test xls. Now there is another issue here. Can you see Excel is not installed here? So there is another issue. What, like if I try to run it now, if I try to run this program now, you will see there is an error. So it will say that it will not be able to create the Excel object. Can you see ActiveX component cannot create object Excel.application? So what I will have to do, I just installed that UFT in this machine probably on last Wednesday, and I forgot to install Excel. Now without Excel being installed in your virtual machine, you cannot execute this code, you cannot handle Excel. So what is the remedy for that? Can anyone tell me what is the remedy for that?
You have to go to share folder, just find that file, and execute from them. If it's not, you copy that one and paste it to the drive,
and you'll have to set up Excel. Summary is
set up an Excel.
You have to set up Excel in your virtual machine. So it is my bad, I didn't install it before, but it will take only short while. In the meantime, you are seeing as well how to install Excel. Some of you who didn't get that session, first I am bringing that Excel where I have it in the shared drive. So I have Excel shared drive here. Shared drive means the location that I have shared with the virtual machine. I am bringing that Excel to C drive inside TempSoft, and from there I will be installing Excel. Now it will take a little bit time. I will pause my recording in the meantime. So we will be learning framework, right? Now framework, if you say framework, what is framework? Okay, let's say this building, okay, this building without these tables, chairs and many other things, it has a framework itself. On that framework, this building as a whole is a framework. Now this building has a framework, and the building beside it has another framework, right? There are big difference. And then if you go to a residential area, over there building has another framework. Okay, so framework, test framework, again there is no hard and fast rules that you have to follow, must you have to do that. There is no hard and fast rules. It is, what is test framework? It is just a set of guidelines. It is just a set of guidelines. Each testing team in each organization, they have different guidelines. Let's say in regions there are 10-15 automation teams, 20 automation teams. Each of the team has their own framework guidelines. So they implement their framework as they find it comfortable for them. So it is just a set of instructions that automation engineer follows while writing their test script. Okay. Now in UFT, in Selenium, all other software testing automation tools, framework kind of same concept is same. It is a guideline. Now what are those guidelines? Might be there are several guidelines. You are not following all of them, you are following some of them. So what are those guidelines? Let's get ourselves introduced with those guidelines. Let me bring, I have prepared, I've collected some information from internet, and I have added something from my experience, and I have a little document that I am going to share with you, and also you will get it from me. So what is framework, and what we do actually in framework? I will be discussing this topic from Microsoft Excel. I have a document, let me open it for you. If you have a shared repository, and then you want to do it like, you want to say for every people in the team, they will have their own object repository, or you can say there will be only one object repository. The difficulties will be when you have only one object repository, when multiple people try to save data into it, they will not be able to do that. Only one people can save data into a function library at a time. When he, in the function library, in the object repository, you can go to, there is a pencil where you can say edit, right? If you go back here, let's say inside this one, let me bring an object repository. Let me bring an object repository to show you actually how it works. So I am bringing, although I don't need that object repository in this test, but I am bringing an object repository that I have in the existing in our existing file system. So object repositories, where did I save object repositories? repositories, UFT tutorials, shared object repository. Let's say I have an object repository here. Just QA question. Okay, this object repository, why do we use object repository? Can anyone tell me what is the use of object repository? I'm trying to get a quick idea why.
Information of the to get details information of the object we will use.
Alright, so we use object repository again to add objects. Okay, test objects that we are dealing with, we save those objects in the object repository, and then we can drag it. We can drag that object to our code. Then we don't need to write the descriptions of the object. We don't need to pick the descriptions by going into the object, by picking all the attributes. Okay. And the other purpose of using object repository is, let's say if you write descriptive programming, okay, if you write descriptive programming, just take this idea here. If you are using an object in 10 function libraries, you are using an object in 10 function libraries, if you write descriptive programming, if that object properties changes in the application, you will have to change in templates, right? Let's say, let me go to our function library, then from there I will be able to show you some quick thing. So if I go to miscellaneous function library, probably I don't have that I have only one function here probably. Let me bring the other function library where I have the other functions. Let's say a custom function library. So if I bring it, although I don't need it here in this test, but I am bringing it here to show you something. When you are writing descriptive programming, there are some disadvantages of writing all the way descriptive programming. So one of the disadvantages is if you go to the custom function library, let's say you are writing descriptive programming and you are giving object description. Okay, let's say this logo, you are working with this logo. Now you are writing description for that logo. Now if something changes in the application, if you need to change this description, now if you use that object in 10 functions, then you will have to change the description in 10 places, right? So changing it in 10 places is a big time hassle. Instead of doing that, what you can do, if you add that object to the, if you can add that object to the function library, what you can do, can you see this enable editing? You go there and whatever object you want to, let's say this is the object, okay, you want to change some attribute. So you can change the attribute from here, you can copy it from the object actual application, and if you change it here, although you are using this object in 10 places in your actual code, you don't need to change it in 10 places. So you are changing the attribute here, let's say in a text string, you are changing it here in one place, and then if you use this object 100 times in real application, you will have to use a single object in 100 functions in different purpose. So you are changing the inner text here, and then it is reflecting throughout the place. Let's say if you use it in 100 places, it is taking effect. So that is, this is a object repository is a central place where you are adding attributes to the object, where you are changing the attributes to the object, and these changes are going to be reflected in your code. So that's why you can use
So it's going to be automatically updated with the object?
yeah, it is.
When you change over here, it's not sure.
See what happens. Let me tell you what actually happens. Let's say you need to use this object. So how you use this object? You use this object in your actual application. In your actual application, what you do? You drag this object from your repository. How? you drag it like this. Then this object is here, right? Can you see this object is here? Now you drag this object in the same way in 10 places, but you are changing something in the object repository. You are not changing anything here in this name. You are not changing anything here. You are changing what you are changing. The only thing you are changing is inside your repository. You are changing this attribute, but this is not changing this name.
What's the definition of attribute?
Attributes means, as an example, let's say you have an object in this. Let me show you an attribute. What is attribute? Let's say this is your internet browser, and over there if you take your object spy, okay, and then if you try to hold on, let me bring this page as a full. Let me close this. Actually, I'll get disconnected from internet here, but I can show you what is attribute. So if you go there, and let's say this is the object, okay. Now this object, can you see its class name, its some other, what? All of them are attributes, okay. Now these attributes, these are the attributes that you have seen over there. So these are the attributes that you can change here, and then it will be reflected throughout your test cases. Now let me my office is installed, so let me go back to where I was. Now let me remove it. I don't need it here. Let me close it. No. Now I don't need this object repository too. I'm going to remove it. Now take a look here in the action. If I try to let me go to that place where I have that Excel file. Then I'll tell you what I'm going to do over there. So what is that place? This place is this one. Now you can see that I can open this test Excel file, right? Now if I open this, if you see here, how many records I have? How many records I have in this table? Do I have 6 records?
5.
I have 5 records because this one is just the column header, right? Yeah. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records, and 5 records means I have their name, their age, and the time when I saved this record into this Excel file. So this time means in 2016 09 September 4 at 12:43:53 I saved this data here, okay. And then if you take a look here at 2016 4th of September 12:46:41 I saved this record here. So this is what this data means. Now if you take a look here, what we are doing in this specific example, first we are creating an Excel object by line number 4, and then we are creating a file system object. Can anyone tell me why do we need file system object? Why do we need a file system object? We are using this file system object for something. What is the purpose?
To find the PDF, if file is exist or not.
Good answer. Now in line number 10, can you see, by this file system object that we are creating in line number 5, by this file system object we are doing a ops fsu.fileexist, and then we are giving the file path where that file is located. Can you see this file is this one? If you directly go to your address bar Can anyone tell me what is address bar? What is the address bar? For this browser, what is the address bar?
It's where you have the link.
Which one?
Go to the link, right?
To search it.
Address bar is this one. Where you type your address.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the address bar for the browser. Now for your Windows, which one is the address bar? Let's say this is your Windows, okay? So which one is your address bar for your Windows? On top. And if you paste it here, the path of the file that you have in your code, this path, right? If you paste that path in your Windows address bar, we will see it will bring your Excel file. Okay, like if you paste an URL to the browser address bar, it will bring you that page. But if you put the path of a file in your Windows address bar, it will bring you, it will open that file for you. Okay. Now in line number 6, we have stored a file path in a variable called file path. And then in line number 9, by that Excel object, the Excel object that we are creating, first, when you create an Excel object, it remains blank and it remains hidden. Okay. In line number 4, you are creating an Excel object, but it remains hidden and it remains blank. By line number 9, you are bringing that Excel object visible to you by line number 9. So how? Let me quickly, although we have discussed all of these things, I am repeating it so that it gets stick in your mind. So that like I know sometimes we are busy, but if you discuss same thing again and again, see a child, when they born, can they speak? They can, right? Day by day they learn words, right? First they do not understand the words, but day by day they learn words. So I'm discussing it multiple times so that even it is not familiar to you, but you get familiar day by day with it. This is how it works. Okay. Now let me quickly run this code and start discussing from there. I'll be going back to the framework after that. Okay. Now let me quickly run it. Okay. Now I have my breakpoint here. Okay. I have my breakpoint in line number 9. Now before line number 9, we have executed line number 4, we have executed line number 5, we have executed line number 6. But can we see any kind of action? Can we see any kind of action? No. But we have created an Excel object. Okay. We have created an file system object. We have stored a file path in a variable. Some of our change we can see by going to our local variables. Can you see, if you go to our local variables, you can see we have created an Excel object and this is a object. And then if we have created a file system object, again this is an object. Then we have created a file path, right? And we have stored a file path over there. Now the Excel object that we have created in line number 4, in line number 9 we are making it visible. Can you see? So what is this one called? Can you see this one? What is this? This bar, what is the name of this bar? Test bar. Okay. So this is your, when I say look at your test bar, you are looking in this test bar. Whatever you are doing, it is appearing here. whatever task you are doing, it is appearing here. From here you can view them. Now here we don't have any Excel open, right? Now by this line number 9, if you take a look, can you see now I have an Excel object, but it is blank. File path from, when I created that file, I saved that file over there. It is the file path where you save that file first when you create it. Okay? And if you want to bring a file path, different file path, what you do, you navigate like that. Let's say you want to bring this file. You navigate there and you click on your Windows taskbar, you copy it and you paste it over there. And then whichever file you want to open, just mention the file name of the file. Okay? Okay, let's say you want to open this, advertisement text, this file, right? And what is the type of this file? Now, how will you see the type? If you go to the properties, then can you see this is a .docx file, right? So the name of the file is advertisement text and the type is .docx. Now I have copied this path, okay, and then you go to your code, and here if you come here, let's say you want to create another file path, and you go there, let's say another file path equal to, right? So you bring, actually it will be double quotation, so you have bring your file path, and then what is the name of the file? Advertisement text .docx. That is how you bring your file path. Okay, you cannot bring the file name, so you will have to see what is the name, and then you will have to type it over there. Okay, so that's how I brought that file path. Now if I execute this code again, let me show you what it is doing. And see, in line number 10, then we are checking the file that we are looking for, if it exists. So if this file not exist, then it will execute this block. If this file doesn't exist in your hard drive, then it will execute this block. Okay, we have already discussed this block, but I will discuss it again. But if you have that file in your hard drive, then it will come to the else block. So as we have that file, it will come to the else block, but you can see so far we have empty. It has opened Excel, but it is empty. Now if you come here, now we are saying that file exists, now opening. Okay, but can you see still we didn't open the file. To open the file in line number 38, we have can you see, by Excel object active workbook. In line number 35, can you see Excel object .workbooks.open? By this one, we are actually opening that existing Excel file. Now you can see, after you execute this line, you can see it has opened, instead of a blank Excel object, it has opened that existing file for us. Okay, now let's see what is the subsequent lines. What we are doing, we are selecting a sheet where we will be working with. If you can see, we have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. We are first telling UFT that use sheet 1 by which line? By this line number 38. Then line number 39, can anyone tell me what we are doing in line number 39? Line number 39. So
basically we're
new information.
So when you need to create a new row,
Mhm.
that's the command.
Like when you want to create a new row, this is the command. Are you sure about that?
When I need more row.
When you to pull the name, like you would enter like their age or number, and then the name will come up or something like that.
Alright, see line number 39. We are taking, very simple answer. We are taking an input from the keyboard. In line number 39, what we are doing? We are taking an input from keyboard. What is the input? We are asking enter how many rows you want to insert. Total number of rows you want to insert. Like let's say we have how many? We have so far we have 5 records. Now if you want to add 2 more records, you are entering the number over there in that line. You are asking enter how many new rows you want to add. Let's say if you input 2, then it will just take 2 from input and it will store that 2 in number of rows.
So we already know how many row I need to put over there.
Yes, you will be inputting. Let's say it depends on how many rows you want to input. I'll be move forward. Now in this line, what I want to focus, it will be asking you enter how many rows you want. Let's say I want to add 2 more rows. So currently I have 5 rows here, but I want to add 2 more rows with this existing data. Okay, now let's go back to the code. In the code, if you come here, so now before I add new rows, where will I add those new rows? Where will I add those new rows? At the end, from line number 7 and line number 8. So if you want to add 2 more rows, you do not want to delete your existing data, you want to keep your existing data, then you want to add 2 more rows. Now it will be added in line number 7 and 8. In order to add those data in line number 7 and 8, first you will have to make sure how many rows you have. First you have to get how many rows you have in your existing file, right? What will you? You can type your data by your hand, you can type it, but we are learning how you can type it by yourself. Okay. Now see here we are doing we have 5 rows, including the header we have 6 rows. So if we want to add another 2 rows, we cannot add them here in line number 1. We will have to add them from line number 7. So first of all we will have to find out how many rows of data we have currently in that Excel, right? Okay, then how we are getting that number of rows? Can you see line number 42? We are asking Excel sheet dot used range dot rows dot count. So we are counting how many rows of data we have currently in that Excel. Now if I execute this line, if you take a look at if you watch this variable now, how do you watch variable? If you want to watch a variable, how do you watch it? Add to watch. Add to watch. I have some other watch. Let me remove them. Now let me remove all the watch and right click and add to watch. Now do you have anything? Number of existing rows. Do you have anything here? No. Variable is undefined. Now if I execute line number 42, you can see we have 6 rows of data in that Excel. You can see that we have 1, 2, 3, including the heading, we have 6 rows. Is it clear? How we are getting how many rows we have? Then we will be moving forward. Now total number of rows. Okay. Now can you see you have input in line number 39, you have input how many rows you want. How many rows you want? We wanted 2 rows. And if you watch this variable number of new rows, if you add it over there, add to what? You can see that number of new rows 2, number of existing rows 6, right? Is it clear? Now how many, after you add these 2 new rows, how many rows will be there altogether? 8. So that is what I am doing in line number 43. I am adding number of existing rows, that is 6, and number of new rows, that is 2, and saving it in a variable total number of rows. Where I am saving it, if you watch it, total number of rows, if you watch it here, can you see it is undefined at this point? But if you execute this line number 43, now you can see total number of rows after adding another 2 rows. Go ahead.
They use the number of existing rows. The Excel sheet, row.com. That's how it comes.
That's how you get number of rows in a Excel. This is just syntax. You don't need to memorize. If you can search it in the internet how to get the number of existing rows, if you search it in the internet, you will get it. You will just copy it from there and you will search it. And I told you guys that searching information in the internet is a smartness. If you can search whatever you need, if you can search it from internet, and if you can take help from there, this is a very good smartness. And nothing is, you need to memorize. If you can search it from there and you can use it during the exam, I'm happy.
And after install this new functional library, so I can take it from there and use it, right?
Yeah, you can use it.
That's cool. So
Yeah, you can use it. For column what? I didn't get it. Yeah. How many columns you have? If you put column dot count, then it will count your column. Okay. Right. So now you have seen that how many total rows it will be after we have added 2 more rows, and without that 2 rows, how many rows we have? 6. Now if you take a look, now I don't know how many rows I will be adding, so I am taking a dynamic value, how many rows I will be adding. So I am writing a for loop to tell it according to the number that I am inputting. I am asking it iterate that many times and take that many rows for me. Now Hasina Bhabi, for your looping question, I will be explaining it here how it works for loop. To please take a look here. Now when you want to add a new row, where do you want to add it? You want to add it in line number 7. Now in your this variable number of existing rows, what you have? 6. What you have? 6. But when you are adding that new row, you will have to add it in line number 7. So we are asking for loop start from number of existing rows plus 1. Number of existing row is 6 plus 1, that is 7. Start from 7. Start from row 7.
whatever the existing row
Plus 1, because you will have to write it after the
any number.
And then for this number, see here, for I equal to 7, do these operations, right? For I equal to 7, what is the question?
How do I know? I mean, how do I understand?
Sure. You can use do while loop too, but the question here, if you choose to input 0, you are running but you do not want to add any line now, then you will be inputting 0, right? If you add 0 in do while loop, it will do at least once. It will be adding 1 data. So you cannot use do while loop here. Okay. For loop, let's say you have existing rows 6, and now you will have to add it in line number 7. But before it go to add that line, it will be checking total number of rows. Now total number of rows, if you input 0, then the total number of rows will be how much? Existing rows plus 0, that will be 6, right?
For loop gives the
exact, yeah.
And while loop adds one number.
While loop actually does the operation at least once. But for loop, before it do the operations in the body, it check the condition. Now if you input 0, then when it is, see, number of I equal to number of existing rows plus 1. What is that? 7. Now 7 less than or equal to 6. The condition is false. Then it will not go into the body. Right? Now total number of rows is 8 because we have chosen we want to add 2 rows. That make it 8 rows. But we have started writing from line number 7. Right? And it is comparing is 7 less than or equal to total number of rows. 7 is less than or equal to 8, condition true. Then it will go inside there, and then it will, can you see, by this line it is taking an input, a name from input, and then it is saving it in cell I1. What is the value of I now? 7. Then it is saving that value in 7-1 cell. Let's say I am writing a name, a student, or let's give a meaningful name. Let's give what's the name I'll give? Let's say any name, right? Any? Okay. Let's give Nipa, right? I'm giving a name Nipa, and now if you go back to your Excel, can you see in 7-1 it has added that data. Is it clear?
Did you right click on that line? Then you get that.
No,
right?
no. See, when I execute this line again, it will be taking. Can you see input box? It will be taking an age from internet. It will be taking an age from internet, and then it will be saving it in I2. What is the value of I? If you watch this I, if you go to your local variables, what is the value of I? If you scroll down, I equal to 7. Then it is writing, it is taking something from input, and then it is saving it in 7-2 column. What will be the 7-2? This is 7-1. This is 7-2. It will be writing the age in 7-2. But before it writes it, it will be taking that age from input box, and then it will be saving it to that cell. Now let me go there. Let me write it. The age is,
That's
let's
the video
say.
I'm talking about. You just click that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I am just, see, I am moving into. I am just going step by step. Okay. I am going step by step from this toolbar here. Now let's give a age, let's say 24, okay, and click OK. Now see, if you go back to your Excel, can you see it has written 24 in Excel?
Yes.
And then if you come here, it is waiting for me to click on this one to execute this line 49. Where do I need to click here? I am going step by step. It is waiting for me here to execute line 49. Now if I execute line 49, then it is now if you take a look here, it is calling a function generate timestamp. It is calling a function, it is generating a timestamp, and then it will save the timestamp in I3. What is I3? I3 is I equal to 7. 3 is, that means row is 7, column is 1, 2, 3. It will come here and it will be writing that timestamp that we are generating in that function. It will be writing that timestamp here in that cell.
You don't write it automatically?
No, it will write it automatically, because can you see we are bringing a data by calling this timestamp function, and then can you see we are assigning that data to that cell. It is writing because we have assigned that data to that cell. So we are bringing something from somewhere, and then we are storing it in a glass. Okay, we are generating a timestamp, and then we are storing that timestamp in a cell. By this assignment operator, we are doing that. Now let's go to here in the timestamp function. We are generating a timestamp of current time, and then we already discussed it multiple times how we generate timestamp. Now if you take a look, this generate timestamp, right? if you take a look at to watch, can you see in this generate timestamp we have the current timestamp. And how we generate timestamp, if you, this is your function name. If you take a look here in top, this is your function name, this is your function name, okay. And if you save something in that function name, if you are saving the timestamp in that function name, that means we are returning that value from that function. So now if you go back, can you see, if you come here in the Excel, it is storing the timestamp 11:48:56 in that cell, right? Now after that, now what is the value of I? 7. But if I execute next, what will be the value of I? 8. Because for loop, every time, this is the iterator, this I is the iterator. Every time you execute next, it increases that value by 1. Now if you have a value say 7, if you execute next, the value will be 8. Now see, the value, it will be 7 because previously it was 6, right? And then we have added 6 plus 1. So when you execute next, the value, let's see what is the value now we have. Now value should be 8 now, right? Because the value of I is 7 plus we are adding 1, that makes it 8. Now if you take a look here in your, can you see, let me view I as well. Let me add this I in the add to watch as well. So what is the value of I now? Take a look here, it is 8, right? It is 8. Now we are again taking another name and storing it in 8.1. Let's say I am giving a name ABC. Actually, let's give a repon. Okay, repon. So now if you go back here, can you see repon is in 8.1, and then I will be giving his age, let's say 19, and then the age will be there in line number in the 8.2, and then we are generating the timestamp, okay, line by line. Okay, now you can see in your Excel you have the timestamp 2. Then now if you execute next, what will be the value of I? The value of I should be no. The value of I should be, the previous time the value of I was, hold on, it was 7, but we have added a 1, then it becomes 8. Now the value of I, when you execute next, it will be 9. 9, and when you are adding here 9 plus 1, it will be 10. Now 10 less than or equal to total number of rows. Total number of rows 8. So 10 less than or equal to 8, the condition is false. Then it will not execute this loop anymore, right? So if you see it didn't go through, then I am saving whatever I want to, whatever I have written in that Excel, I am saving it, and then after saving it I am quitting. After you saved it, see you have now all the data, you have added 2 more data in that Excel, and then you save your Excel and quit it, and that's it. That is what we are doing in the first example. Okay, and if we do not have that file, what we are doing here, we are adding a couple of data into it. If we do not have the file, the same way we are hard coding the data, hard coding 4 rows. But if we have the file, then we are adding data to it. But if you do not have the file, first we are storing some data in it, and how you store it I already have discussed in the previous class. But the key takeaway from this session here is how you can add data with existing data in your Excel. Now let me answer you. When it will be exiting out from the for loop, before it exit out, it will be checking the value of I with this total number of rows. And if it gets that total number of rows is bigger, actually if it gets that I is bigger than total number of rows, then it will only exit out.
That 9 is bigger than obviously, then it exits at 9.
Yeah, it is exited out at 9.
That comparison that you were saying that I equal to existing row plus 1, but the second line is smaller than or greater than, where is that line? I didn't see that line.
Oh, see here, it is not here, but in for loop the way it works, every time it go to the body of the for loop, it compares the value of that I with that termination point.
Oh, because you already put that you need to add 2 rows. So it's calculated.
Yeah, it is calculated. So whenever it is going into the for loop, first it is doing the comparison and then it is going to the for loop. Alright folks, so this is our first part of the recording. I will be moving into the next part where we are following from Rita Bhabi, do you have any question in this one?
No, I had it, but I'm not.
Okay. Any other, do you have any question? I can move to the next video. Kun patta? Can you ask me question in English? Because see what will happen in the interview. If you hesitate to speak in English in the interview, it's a big problem. The reason, I know during the class we can explain it in more safe way, but we are speaking in English so that in the interview it is a big time headache. If you hesitate, if you cannot ask, if you cannot answer properly, it will be a big problem. So that's why we are speaking in English. Okay. Okay. What is the question? Can you ask me?
The question is a file path. So how can I get the file path?
The file path, again, this file path is first I have created that Excel, right? So the file is located here. The file is located here in the UFT shared drive, and then UFT Excel, UFT tutorials, and then I have it here UFT Excel.
But mine I am not virtual machine, my base machine, so I need to go computer.
No, you can go to your computer D drive and you can use the path from there.
And D drive or C drive.
If you want to save it in C drive, you can save it in C drive. If you have E drive, you can use it in the E drive. This is not an issue. Okay, did I answer your question? No, you will have to create the Excel. You will have to create the Excel. If you do not create it, you will not get it over
I
there.
have already my base machine.
Okay, then you create the Excel file over there. Save it.
Can I see the function value next week?
Sure.
Oh,
So do we have another half an hour, all of us?
Yes, I'm leaving right now. Sorry
Yeah,
for
can
that.
you show me please?
You are leaving, okay. So if you have half an hour, I will take 5 minutes break, and after that I will be discussing the room. Okay? Yeah, I'm recording. Probably I will be discussing the remaining part. If you guys leave, then I can do
Excel. Create Excel. And then follow this one.
if you guys leave, then you will have to follow it from our recording. Okay? Alright, so if you want to leave, but then make sure that you are watching it from okay, so I'm going to open the next video that I have prepared for you guys, called functions from Excel. What I'm doing, I have some functions, I'm calling those functions from Excel. So if you go back again in that part, let me go there, UFT tutorials, and then inside this one, use of Excel, and then inside this one I have Excel with function. Now I am working with this file. So if you come here, can you see I have some function here? So open application, close all open browser, then open application browser, and then verify the website logo, and then software quality assurance web element verification, then QA interview question verification, QA interview question click, and then question 1 verification. So what I am doing basically, let me connect to the internet. I am connected here, but it seems it is not connecting me over there. So let's see what is happening here. Water came inside my computer. Everybody, you said a good thing. Weather. But weather, I know how people, this weather is good. Otherwise, you are having 90 degrees outside.
We need them.
And other thing, we can read some poem. Ravi Thakur.
These are sleeping weather.
And other way we can hear youtube.com
কিছু একটা poem আছে, আজি ঝড়ো ঝড়ো কি বিষম বাদল দিনে। আমাদের রফিকে তো ভালো গান গায়।
আমাদের তো কোনো জায়গায় আমরা এখানে খিচুড়ি আছে, আমরা খিচুড়ি রান্না করি।
রফিকা ইচ্ছা করলে একটা সুর দিতে পারে,
খুব ভালো লাগে।
রফিকা ইচ্ছা করলে একটা সুর দিতে পারেন, আজি ঝড়ো ঝড়ো।
আমাদের নোয়াখালী যে ভিজে নষ্ট খুব কুমিল্লার খুব ফেভারিট।
So okay, so I am recording something that I am going to resume recording here, and let me execute it. So the task that we are doing here, we have a Excel file. We have an Excel file in our UFT tutorials. Use of Excel, and from this Excel with functions, our goal is the functions that we have created in the function library is located here. We will be calling these functions sequentially from here. What we are doing actually in this test case, our test case is go to qaquestions.org, right? Verify that this logo is there, then verify that this text are there, then click on QA interview questions and verify that the first question is there. This is my test case. Okay, now how I am doing it? First I am closing all browser. This is a function. Okay, let me correlate this function with our script here. Now I am looking for that function. Now it is saying that this function was not found. Probably something wrong. We do not have the right function library here. So custom function library. Okay, I have it. Okay, let me search it again. Right, now see how I am searching. When you are searching, you can select parent selection, parent document, parent test, entire solution. So you select entire solution and click find next. Can you see close all open browser? So I am calling this function from Excel, and in that function I am giving a message closing all browser, and also I am adding timestamp with that message.
I think that is fine thing.
You go to your action,
Okay.
okay, and then press Ctrl F and select entire solution, then it will be whatever you are looking for, it will be looking all of the files including the function libraries. Okay, so now let me go back again. In that function, what we are doing, we are writing a message, we are adding timestamp with that message and closing all existing browser.
While you are adding the timestamp.
Timestamp is normally when you are executing. Mr. Ravi, look one thing. Rafi bhai asked a good question. Why are you adding timestamp? So we are printing something, and with that text we are adding a timestamp. So when you are executing text, normally this log that you are writing here in your output, you write this log in a text file. So when you are executing, what you are doing, everything is writing in a text file, and it is saving in your computer. So after 6 months, if someone wants to verify something, what did you do? So as we have all the logs in the text file, then we can verify it even after 6 months, because
That's why we didn't need the time, the exactly what I did.
that's why we are using the timestamp, because for this log, actually in real life we are adding these logs, we are saving these logs in a text file, and those text file we are keeping it for reference, because a lot of times from other team they will be asking you, can you show us the log?
So every time it is saving automatically the text.
No, not automatically. In this one we didn't implement it, but we have mechanism. We will have to write. We are writing something in Excel file. We can write something in Notepad file. We can write something in Notepad file. I am not doing it here, but in real life, the logs that you are generating, you will be saving it in a text file, and then that text file will be stored in your computer. Although I didn't implement it here, I thought it will be too much for you.
So generating this
Timestamp.
we are not saving.
We are not saving it. We are just viewing it in the output.
Yes.
But in general,
That
we
output we will be
saving it in the
real life.
real life. Okay.
So that is like is saving in the not for four.
No. It is even easier than Excel.
Okay.
Okay. But I didn't include it because I do not want to, junk you with too much stuff, because you are in learning curve. I think whatever we have discussed, if you have a clear understanding, whatever we have discussed, you are good enough to start with it.
We are submitting with this text file, am I correct?
Yeah.
So that text file we can save it in anywhere, in Excel or in Word.
Yeah, anywhere. Normally we prepare in Notepad.
Notepad.
Can you see this
Yes.
this Notepad? If you type NOTE here, so normally. Yeah, you can, like we are bringing Excel, like we can bring Notepad as well.
Oh, okay.
We didn't learn it, but for now just skip it.
Anything we can put, Notepad, Word, anything.
Now let me quickly run this script, and then I will be explaining it in more details. I have a browser open. Now if you take a look in our action, I have a code here, body of the code like 34 lines, and it is a small framework, you can say. It is reading the keywords from our Excel file, and then it is executing. So let me quickly execute it. I have a breakpoint here, but let me not stop in this breakpoint. So it is opening the Excel file, and then it's supposed to close the browser. It has closed the browser.
Basically, whatever you did before, now you're just including everything into
Excel, yeah. We are not doing anything new here except reading these functions from Excel.
Yeah, this is the one, the first class that's what it is.
Yeah.
Very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
How come? When you will edit the Excel on this.
Okay, now after the execution, if we go back, can you see the logs? Now if you take a look at the logs output, see everything what we did is written with timestamp. At what time? See, closing all the existing browser, we did it at 12:54. Then we have opened application again 12:54:50. Everything with including second or everything is written here. Instead of writing it here in the output, we write it in Notepad. Okay, so that is why, you know, let's see how we did it quickly. So what I did here, first I open that Excel and make it visible. Then I checked it if that file exists. If that file doesn't exist, I am giving file doesn't exist. Else, if this file exists, what I am doing here, file exists, now opening, I open that file by line number 14. Then I set a worksheet, sheet 1, and then I read how many rows I have over there.
I have a question. How do I remember it now or
You don't remember that, you just copy and paste it. Even I don't remember it.
that is my issue, right? How do I
I don't remember it. I don't remember it. Copy and paste.
so now I'm getting code from your page. When the real world
You will be searching how can I read how many numbers of rows I have in an Excel. I told you, searching in the internet in Google is a smartness. Try to acquire that knowledge. If you want to work in IT, try to acquire that knowledge of how to search things in the internet.
So number of existing rows, this variable is containing this also, right? Now, it's just 10 rows.
Then I am just using a loop. See, for I equal to 1 to number of existing rows, I am reading. Can you see Excel sheet dot cells I11? I am reading the first. I am reading the first row. First row. That means close or open browser, and I am using this value to call a function. So if you go to call function, see, if you go to call function, this is again another function. In that function, see here I passed a value, what? Open, close all existing browser. Now in this str function, what we have? Close all open browser. And then can you see select case? We have learned select case. So if this one is close all open browser, then we are actually executing a function. We are calling a function. And from here actually we are making the call to actual function where we are printing something and then opening or closing all browser. Is it confusing?
No, this one is yeah, from here it's printing up to.
Okay, let me come here again. Everyone, please focus here. In the for loop, I am, let's say, in that Excel file. In this Excel file, take a look here. In this Excel file.
One question because I'm missing this one. So I have this action, right, for the verification function library, right? With function library. Now I have this call function in one function library, and I can have the other function. The call function will associate with other. That function will call. I can keep it in two separate.
You can keep it in two separate function library, or you can incorporate them in the same function
Now,
library.
if I keep it in two separate, then I will associate both of them
with this test.
with one test, right?
With this test, yeah.
Okay, so if I keep it in one, then it's gonna go and then find out where it is, and
Yeah,
it's gonna jump.
it's gonna jump over there wherever you keep it. But make sure that you are associating these functions. These functions are in a function library called this custom function library. You can name it as your name, but make sure that you are associating it here under your test name.
No, once I associate it, it's gonna be, it just remains safe under, it's like that, or every time I open it.
No. Once you set it, it will be remain associated.
Okay.
Okay. Now let me give you one more overview on this one. So what I'm doing here, first I'm reading how many number of functions I have here. I have 7 functions. So I need to iterate 7 times to execute these 7 functions. So first I am iterating on 1.1. In 1.1 I have close or open browser, and this function actually to call that function, to make an actual call, I had another function, caller function. I am calling this function with the value that I am having from this cell. So with this value I am calling a function. Then let me put a breakpoint here, that will make more sense. Let me close everything, let me remove all the logs, and then let me execute it. Let me run it. Now it has opened it, right? Now when I am calling function, let me show you what is the value I have in that cell. So what I am going to do, I am going to bring view, debug and console, and in the console I will be print. Actually I didn't copy it, let me copy it, copy, and in
inside parentheses, right?
yes, copy in whatever I have inside parentheses, and if you print it, can you see what I have here? Close all, open browser. I have this function, look at the board, I have this function here. Now when I am calling this function, call functions, see it is going to this call function. Now in that str function, what do I have? In that str function I have, can you see, close all, open browser, and then in the select case it will come to this block, because we are making a case with this variable, and in this variable we have close all, open browser. So it is coming here, close all, open browser, right? It is coming to the block. That is where we are making actual call. Let me see if my UFT is already hanged. Okay, it seems like my UFT is hanged. But from here actually we are making the call. When you execute this line number 4, it will go to that function and it will close actual browsers. Okay. Now I think I can wrap up this session here. I will ask you watch these 2 videos. Little bit more.
The same second line.
Because in uploading opening, I believe everybody will be able to do.
Okay. Then let me. My UFT is not responding.
Oh, okay.
Let me quickly.
In virtual machine, when you in local machine, all control there works, but when you
In virtual machine, you don't need to press Alt Control D. You taskbar, task manager. From there, you close UFT. You close UFT. Now you can see that my UFT is closed. I will close Excel too. Then I will start my UFT. Okay. Continue. No, case we will have to write the case. We learned in the previous video. You do a research how to use select case. First you go for the select case, but I will explain it here.
But if we close the tab, like the tab bar, we'll lose all our data.
But before you, like every time you run it, you save it so that you don't lose your data.
Okay.
And when you close it from taskbar, you don't have any other.
Click for that.
Okay.
That's click for later. You go here and then you make
So guys, please focus on the screen again, and again make sure that you are selecting temporary when you are running a code. Make sure you are clicking these options and create temporary files, otherwise every time it will be creating a folder when you run your test. Now I am running it, and I have breakpoints, so I will be directly going to those breakpoints. And now again I am here calling this function with a value, which value that I have in the Excel file in cell 11. What is that value? Close all open browser. Now if you go there, right, can you see in the select case you are making a case with this str function. That means you have str function. If you go to your local variables, what you have in your str function? Close all open browser. So it will, when you execute this case, it will come to this block, and then it will make the actual execution. Now if you execute this line, can you see it came to the actual function which is driving these operations. It is coming here, and then it is generating a timestamp. After generating the timestamp, can you see it is generating the timestamp and it is printing something in the output with the timestamp. It is closing all existing browser. So that is the line number 2 is doing that. And then in line number 3 it is actually closing all open browser. Then for the next time I equal to 2, that means 2 1. So what do we have in 2 1? Open application browser. Now when we are making call to this, when you execute next, then if you go to your local variables, your I, if you go to your I equal to 2, that means we are bringing data from this cell where we are opening browser, where we are calling a keyword that is open browser. Now what is the str function? Because we called this function with a value open application, that's why now we have in this call function, okay, where is that call function? Let me go there. Okay, now in this str function we have open application browser, and in the open application browser what we are, I saw this error. Sometimes even you are not finish execution, it is opening your browser. I saw this error. This is a problem with the software. Okay, when you have to have some problem with debugging. So this is a problem with debugging, so I'll have to stop execution here, because I saw sometimes it is doing that. Okay, now I will do a execution again, but before that let me close this Excel and let me execute it again. Now you can see it is, let me do a quick execution. It came here. So now when we are calling first time, it is calling with which value? This one, right? 1 1, close all open browser, and then see it is coming here and it is coming to this block, because in this variable we have closed all open browser, and this variable is determining this select case which one will be executed. Whatever value you have in this str function, it will go to that particular case. Does it make sense, Hasina Babi? Okay, now see it is keep going. So this is a problem with the debugging process. Okay, it is keep going, and if I execute it, it will be failing here. Now that is how actually each of the functions is being called from Excel and being executed by the framework. Yeah.
Can you explain the scripting you wrote for this, the logo?
Logo, okay, sure. Let me explain that. What is that function? That function is verify website logo, right? This one. Okay, let me go there in our code. let me go to action and let me search it.
In the function library.
I'll go there. So this is my, okay, now
Now it's saying, please timestamp, okay, generate timestamp, we got it. Alright, now then, if I equals 0, would you please just start from here?
see here what I'm doing lot of time. See, if you go to that site, if you go to that site to the questions, it will take, can you see it is taking a little bit time? It is taking a little bit, sometimes you will see it is taking longer time. If you clear all the cache, right? If you clear all the cache, I'm going to clear all the cache, delete browsing history, and let's say I'm deleting all the browsing history, delete, and it is deleting. Now if you try to bring that page, QA questions .org, can you see it is taking time? Before it comes, it is taking time. So if you just open browser and straight away if you try to verify that logo, if the website is not fully loaded, you will not get that logo, right? Now we can give a wait time like 10 seconds, but instead of giving 10-second wait time, we have created a loop here. Let's say sometimes it takes 10 seconds, sometimes it takes 20 seconds. So instead of giving, if it sometimes it takes 10 seconds, sometimes 20 seconds. So if it takes 10 seconds, if you use 20 seconds hard-coded wait time, then you are wasting time. If it takes 20 seconds, then if you use wait 10 seconds, then your code will be failing. So instead of using a hard-coded wait time, we have introduced a loop here. What we did here, see, loop while not this logo exists, and I gave here 1 second. Can you see 1 second?
Yeah, I got it.
And then I asked it I less than 30, and if you do not get it, do not wait unlimited time. Do not keep looking. If you keep looking, if the website didn't come, and you keep looking unlimited time, then it is unlimited time. It will be keep looking for that object, but you will have to exit criteria. What is the exit criteria?
So here is I is time.
Yeah, I is how many time it will be looking, how many time it will be iterating.
This 30 is like it's gonna count like a second.
It will see every time it will be coming here. It will be exist 1 means 1 second.
1 second.
And can you see inside the loop? Inside the loop, I have written I equal to I plus 1, and I started from 0. So first time it will be 1, second time it will be 2, and it will be keep looking up to how much? Up to 30. If it is more than 30 seconds, 30 means if it is more than 30 seconds, exit out. Is it clear? Let me make the text a little bit smaller because I cannot show you whole text at a time. You got it? Everyone?
It is the time talking about this loop is like like it's a wait statement.
Yeah, this is a wait statement, and in that wait statement, see every time I am looping, if it doesn't get that logo, it will be come here, and if it doesn't get that logo, it will be going back, and again it will be keep doing it, right?
Okay.
So it will be coming here looking for that logo for 1 second, and if it doesn't get it, it will be
Exiting out when is exiting out?
yeah, exiting out is, can you see here, if exist, and it will be loop only if it not exist and I less than or equal to 30. If this element doesn't exist and I less than or equal to 30, if I is greater than 30, it will not go back.
Okay.
This is the loop. This is the loop what we are doing here. Do while loop. Do while not these element exist and I less than or equal to 30. See what is the condition? Do while not what? Not this object exists and I less than or equal to 30.
Okay, if exists, then what's happening?
If exists, then the condition is becoming,
Next line, the highlight.
yeah, it is going to the highlighting.
Okay, when this logo is keep repeating, what could be that? Because for me,
So if the website doesn't come, so your description, you need to look at your description. In your browser probably you have a different browser. So how you can take a look, let me show you. How you can take a look at the description. I am taking the object spy,
Yeah.
and then I am coming here. What is the object?
Keyword.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Now what is the attribute we are using for that link? Outer. So copy all of the attributes, put it in a notepad. I showed you how to write descriptive programming. Put it in a notepad, okay?
And you share.
And then can you see outer HTML? Check it with what outer HTML you have it.
And then change it.
Then change it accordingly.
So it's definitely programming over there, right?
Yeah. See, you have a probably different IE browser, and if you use outer HTML,
Yes.
the problem is it will change browser to browser.
Yes.
And we have used that because we didn't have any other way.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's
And also for logo, none of the attributes are changing.
only that outer text. None of the other thing is working. All right. So again, take your time. Come with your question in our online session if you have it.
I will run it, I will try to finish it, and then definitely I'll get in touch because I'm going to try my best to fix this issue.
If you cannot get it, definitely you can get to me.
I'll get in touch with this. So this thing I just have to
Yeah.
get it here. But obviously every time whenever a call is happening, it's just looping inside or something. It's better to go ahead and spy it and
Change it.
down-
Fix it.
change it and fix it.
Fix it. Alright, so I'm going to stop this recording here. Thank you all for joining. I will talk to you on Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. Actually, it could be 9:30, but if I do not send you any email, it will be 10 o'clock. If I send you an email, I will let you know it is 9:30.
But I'm going to do some of them.
Thank you.
Go line by